What's up, Guild Wars 2 fans? It's been a long wait,
Waiting.
but it's finally here. The 2023 content plans for Guild Wars 2. Since the release of the latest expansion, End of Dragons, a year ago, we had the re-release of Season 1 that ended on November 8th with the release of the 5th episode, Battle for Lion's Arch. Some don't even consider Season 1 new content, but repackaged content. For most of us, it was a waiting game to what the game has in store for us in 2023.
Now we play the waiting game.
Now that wait is over. In broad strokes, we know what's coming. In the short term, it's really exciting. In the long term, it's more unclear what we can expect. Let's take a look. Over its 10 years existence, Guild Wars 2 has shown a pattern of changing content strategy. To me, it's one of the reasons why Guild Wars 2 hasn't grown as much as other MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV, for instance. At its release in 2012, the game had the grand plan of a living, ever-changing world. No expansions, but regular content updates with content that was only playable in that time, not coming back if you miss it. Those updates came regularly, but were too small to satisfy the player appetite. The studio saw the error of its ways and went back to the expansion model with the release of A Heart of Thorns in 2015. Gaps between expansions were filled with living world seasons, consisting of multiple episodes, smaller content updates every 3 months or so. It led to what many considered the golden age of Guild Wars 2, when Living World Season 3, expansion Path of Fire, and Season 4 came out between 2016 and 2019. That content pacing was too much to keep up, apparently, as they changed content strategy again in the end of 2019 and 2020. Sagas were supposed to give us expansion-worthy features in free content updates. It resulted in the low point of the MMO. During this time, I was truly concerned about the future of the game, and if it even had one. Luckily, the studio came around again and returned to the expansion model with End of Dragons, which came out in February 2022. That brings us to today, 2023. And guess what? They're changing content strategy again.
Again? Seriously?
But change is a good thing, right? So let's approach it like that. No more big expansions, but mini expansions are coming our way in the future. These mini expansions are supposed to give us 2 new open world maps, 2 strike missions, new gameplay and combat features, new masteries and new rewards. Living World is also scrapped. Instead, we're getting quarterly updates that will give us another open world map, additional story chapters, challenge modes for the strike missions, a new fractal dungeon and challenge mode, new rewards and additions to the new systems. We're supposed to get these mini expansions and quarterly updates every 1 to 2 years at a reduced price. Let's start with the positives. Regularly updates are key for Guild Wars 2. Content droughts have been getting longer. Taking 2 to 4 years for expansions to come out is too long. In 10 years, Guild Wars 2 has released only 3 expansions. Compare that to other MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, Destiny 2 or Elder Scrolls Online. content drought causes players to leave the game, and although some come back, others don't. Reducing pricing is also a good thing. It makes the game more accessible to more players. Removing Living World also has the advantage of getting rid of the pay gems per episode if you miss it model that was a barrier for new players. Even though in the long term you might spend more money than in the old model, it gives the game more resources to put in the game. I would guess for a $29.99 price stamp for these mini expansions. However, I also have some concerns. You can call these expansions as much as you want, but this new content model feels much more like DLCs, more akin to what Icebrood Saga was supposed to be, than the expansions we know and love from other MMOs. 2 new maps and an additional map in the quarterly updates means one less map than what we've come to expect from expansions. The blog post stays noticeably quiet on big features like elite specializations, new guild halls, new race or weapons, housing, or other features akin to fishing and mounts in the past. Even though mentioning a new race feels like opening a big can of copium at this point, it's concerning that the game stays quiet on these headliner features. Can we even expect them in the future? Finally, I wonder how they'll market this new model. You can't underestimate the pull of a full-fledged expansion to the larger audience. I have my doubts if these mini expansions will be able to do the same. The immediate future is looking pretty exciting though. New content arrives on February the 28th, way sooner than I expected. New story and a new map. It has been a long time coming. We'll come face to face with a deadly foe that resides deep within the Jade Sea. It seems the theory of an underwater horror that was previously kept under control by Suwon but now roams free, as hinted by Ella McKay in Kaineng, holds some water after all. No pun intended. Exploring the deep? Maybe? This will give us an idea on the scope of these quarterly updates. As for the long-term future, I have some more questions and concerns on that. On the spectrum of Icebrood Saga to the announcement of End of Dragons, my excitement is more leaning towards Icebrood Saga. Am I as concerned as when they announced Icebrood Saga? Of course not. Far from it. But I'm also not as excited as when they announced End of Dragons. It's that excitement I'm looking for, and I don't have it. Yet. In the end, the question for me is, can Guild Wars 2 give the community what they want with the resources they have? Or can the community be satisfied with what the game can give? I don't have an answer yet. I'll be using the wait and see approach on this, hoping for the best with a healthy dose of skepticism.
You'll just have to wait and see.
I'm interested to know what you think. Let me know, and I'll see you next time.